Good evening, everybody. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and I promised you an extremely large live stream tonight, and by gollies, I have it right here. And welcome everybody to my live stream. I had told you guys I was going to do this. I told you I was going to run a small live stream last night, which I did. And now I'm going to run a much larger one tonight. It was a good idea to run it tonight instead of last night because we had a whole bunch of severe weather come in after it had been 110 degrees heat index. Yeah, you're like, whoa. They actually had a tornado in Chicago. That is how bad it got. I cannot tell you how dark our skies got, and not even half of what they got. So you can just about imagine what they got. But anyway, I'm hoping Danny Watts is here. And for the rest of them, come on in. I had already told you guys I was going to do this. And by God, I'm going to do this. So as for Survival on a Budget Made Easy, he sent me a video today. I don't know if I'll actually get to it tonight because I got a lot of stuff to cover. Okay, this is going to be a packed house. And there will be intermissions. So hang in there, folks, because there will be intermissions. When those intermissions will happen, I don't know, but we will have intermissions, okay? I plan to run this live stream all the way from now until 10 o'clock or whatever the material runs out, whichever be the case. So hopefully my voice won't wear out. If it does, I'll turn it off and we'll try again on another day because I'm not going to just review one movie, not just two, but 3 movies tonight. On top of all that, I'm going to review some songs, and on top of all of that, I'm going to review some other people's videos. So it's going to be a packed house tonight. So if you're one of my students, get your pencils ready, get your paper ready. You got a lot of material to think about tonight. Okay, first and foremost, for those of you who are joining me now, keep in mind something here. When I have to look at my notes, which I have now emailed to myself, okay, I won't be able to see the live stream conversation until I finish my presentation. Then I'll come back and I'll look at see who replied to what, and then I'll go ahead and well, you get the idea. So I'll be kind of back and forth. Okay. Now, Survival on a Budget Made Easy let me know that it was a wonderful idea to do the video response wars live, like I have done the last couple of times. And that's fine. There are going to be some contestants that don't want to watch an entire live stream just to see their little segment. So when it comes to them, I will make sure to make a separate video during the live stream so they don't have to go through the whole live stream just to see what they're doing. As for you, if you don't mind that, that's fine with me. But it looks like I got 2 people in my live stream. Please, if you're here now, let me know that you're out there because I have no idea who's watching and not even a clue. And I welcome everybody. So, I guess the first thing I will tell you is a brief story. It's about okay, Danny Watts writes, my display name is different because I created a new YouTube channel yesterday. That's fine. That's great. I'm glad. I specifically did this for you because I wanted you to be here. And I didn't want to run this way late at night. Some of my live streams are going to have to be run real late at night because of my schedule. But whenever I could get a chance to do something like this, I'll make sure that I'm doing it at an earlier time. Sometimes it just can't be helped. And last night, it definitely could not be helped. But anyway, I was getting ready to tell you guys a story. I have told this story before, but unless you guys watched some of my Josh Kirby videos, you wouldn't have heard this story. I used to work at a video store. Well, not Well, I need to really clarify that. It was a video department. Yeah, let me turn this. That's better. It was a video department that was inside of a grocery store. Okay, and I used to work in the video department inside the grocery store. That's better. Anyway, while we were in there, we had these two TV screens. Okay, one on the left, one on the right. And you could pop a movie into one of the screens, it would display on both of them. Okay. And what happened was that we would show some of our movies that we had available to rent. The only thing was that the movies had to be kid friendly. Okay. So that meant we could show Disney movies. We could show Timmy the Tooth. And I'll be the first to say that thank you for doing your live stream earlier. It lets me watch more of the live stream while it is live. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. And like I said, sometimes the live streams are going to have to be done later because of my work schedule. But when I can, I'll make sure they're done earlier. Okay. But back to the story. I'm not a particular fan of Disney movies. I did like Aladdin, and that was because of Robin Williams. But as far as many Disney movies, those Disney cartoons just don't cut it for me. And Timmy the Tooth is one of the worst things you could ever watch. Ooh, disgusting. But they had one other thing that I could pop in the VCR, and that was Josh Kirby Time Warrior. Now, for those of you who do not know, Josh Kirby Time Warrior is a 6-movie set. Okay, there are 6 movies in the set. We had the first 3, and for a while that was all I could watch because I didn't know of anybody who would have the other 3. I actually asked around; nobody could get access to them. Well, finally, Blockbuster came into town, and I asked them. I said, "Do you have the other 3?" And they said, "Well, yes, we do." Well, they said they had episodes 4 and 5. They had to get them from another store, but they could get me episodes 4 and 5. So I said, okay. So they requested from another store out of town to bring in episodes 4 and 5. And I got to watch them. I even asked the library if they could get me access to it. They couldn't. So I got to watch episodes 4 and 5, but for number 6, I had to actually order it from the internet. Can you believe that? I actually had to order it from the internet. So I ordered it, I watched it, and I was like, oh, this is cool. This is absolutely cool. It's a little bit campy and that kind of stuff, but it was cool. You could actually watch my reviews of all 6 of them on my YouTube channel if you know the titles of each and every one of them. Because I said my review of Planet of the Dino Knights, my review of the Human Pets, etc., etc., etc. If you go through that, you can watch those. Now, keep in mind, I hope I did this. And, well, I don't know whether I did or not. I thought I did. I thought I had put cards on each one. And you could click from one card to the next. I may have had those cards knocked off because of the thing that you have to be kid friendly now. I don't know. I'll have to go through them and see if the cards are still there. If not, I will put links that will take you from one to the next, the next. But anyway, that's all about Josh Kirby. Now you say, well, how can I actually watch the movies? Well, certainly you can order them from Amazon. I found that out. You can order them directly from Amazon. They're on DVDs now. I own them. Or you can watch them on a streaming service called The Archive. And even though it's all commercialized, you can watch them. And it's free, by the way. So if you get a chance, watch them. You'll enjoy them. Anyway, so what are we going to do tonight? Well, let's see. Well, first of all, we're going to review 3 movies. And on top of that, we are actually going to go ahead and we're also going to review songs and other people's videos, etc., etc. So, again, I will reiterate, there will be intermissions in all this. I will probably get... Hello, sorry I've been so silent lately. Lots of work and moving with my girlfriend. Currently, she and I and Molly are beginning a road trip, a year in the making. Well, thank you for showing up here, Crazy Josh Cravey. I'm thrilled to see you. I've been busy myself, and my work schedule is going to get a lot more weird because of retail Christmas, and I know you've heard that for a long time. You know what I go through at retail Christmas, so there you go. So I am glad you're here. Again, I want to reiterate, we are going to review songs here, we're going to review movies here, and we're also going to review other people's videos. Now, I did a couple of reviews of Survival and Budget Made Easy's videos last night, and we're going to review a lot more stuff. I don't know. He sent me a video. I don't know if I'll get time to do it tonight. I don't even know if my voice will hold up that long, but we're going to try it anyway. So whatever I can't get done tonight, we will do on another live stream. So, all right. So, my studenti. Yes, that's Italian for students, by the way. My studenti, get out your pencils, get out your paper. You know what to do. I have been working on my first 2 YouTube videos, and they will be published as soon as I have them finished. As soon as you have them finished, get them up on the air and enter them into the video response wars, and I will review them. Okay. And that comes from, well, his name is Dan the Man Cunningham now. So that's from Dan the Man Cunningham now. So anyway, here we go. Let's turn on the camera. How do we do that? Much better. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Let me adjust this. Oh, come on. One of the things when I'm reviewing movies or stuff like that, I don't want them to have to go through an entire live stream just to see what questions I'm asking about movies and so on and so forth. I think I already made that quite clear, but for those who are just suddenly coming in, there you go. Anyway, let's get this show on the road, shall we? Not only do I have notes in here, but also I have notes that I emailed myself. Okay. Now, while I'm doing these particular reviews, you guys are more than welcome to leave comments here. I will be I'll look at my questions here, and then I'll go ahead and answer whatever you have over here. So please, at this point, you can go ahead. When I do the other stuff, I'm going to have to look at my notes that I emailed myself, and then once I do the video, I'll come back. I'll see what kind of comments you've left for me, and then it will go back and forth and back and forth. And you get the idea. Okay. So let's set that here, and here we go. Good evening, everyone. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and tonight I'm going to actually review the wonderful movie called It's a Wonderful Life. And I'm going to be doing this for Christmas. I know I'm doing this in August right now, but a lot of times I have to work until retail Christmas, and I'm going to turn this camera over here. I am currently doing a live stream right now. That's why I'm at an angle at the moment. And I may be saying hello to some people because now I have 4 people in my live stream, and I probably will have more before this day is over with. So if I interrupt for a little bit, that's only because I'm getting feedback from people in my live stream. I am doing this live, but I'm going to ask a lot of questions about this movie. So I want you, if you're watching this after the live stream, to take the movie. It's on DVD. You can pop it into your DVD player. You can actually play it. You can live stream it if you want. Watch the movie, and as you're watching the movie, listen to what questions I have from this video, and maybe you can answer some of them. I'm pretty sure that none of the performers in this movie, a few might still be alive, but I don't think very many of them are. I'd be really surprised if they were. I don't even know if any of the people that produced this movie are still alive. I could be wrong on that. If I am, let me know in the comments below. But anyway, let me go through this, and let's see if you can actually answer any of these questions. Number one, who drew the illustrations in the opening credits of this particular movie? Why is God talking to Joseph? Now, find out later on that really wasn't God that was talking to Joseph. I don't know who in the heck was talking to Joseph, but that was the first impression I got when I was watching this movie. And whoever was doing this, he didn't know which angel to send. Really? Why is Clarence making clocks in heaven? I mean, they don't really need time pieces anywhere. I mean, they're in eternity. And why doesn't Clarence have his wings yet? That's never fully explained. It's partially explained, but not fully. Now, how does Joseph know the IQ of Clarence? And why doesn't Joseph just go out and find Clarence himself? Why does he send somebody to go? He actually says, send for Clarence. Why? Why didn't he just go there himself? He's got plenty of time. Okay, so if Clarence and Joseph aren't talking to God, who in the heck are they talking to? That's never really fully clarified. Now, opening scene here. We have kids playing. It snowed. How much snow did they receive, and how cold was it? And what would be a more interesting question is, when they filmed this, when the performers were actually out there filming this, I want to know how much snow they actually had to deal with and how cold was it? Because, man, the film in the cold was a big thing back then. Okay? What duties were assigned to George Bailey by Mr. Gower? And what specific infection did George Bailey get when he fell through the ice? Well, he didn't fall through the ice. Harry fell through the ice, but George rescued him. Okay, what infection specifically did George get that would cause him to not have hearing in one ear? And what device was George Bailey actually wishing on? That's never clarified. And why did George Bailey wish for $1 million? I mean, he could have wished for anything. Why that? I mean, that's never fully clarified. And why were licorice ropes back then called shoelaces? And why didn't Mary like coconut? What did George do to join the National Geographic Society? Because he said he had to do some big thing to join the National Geographic Society, but he never exactly said what he had to do. Now, you have to think about this for a second. George was deaf in only one ear, not both. Okay? So when Mary whispered into his deaf ear, there's a good chance that George at least heard something that Mary said. So why didn't he react to whatever Mary was saying? Well, she was definitely close enough. All right. Now, why would George want so many wives? And why was George late? And, you know, I know he looked like he was coming back from a ball game, but why specifically was he late? I mean, did the ball game have to go into overtime or what? That's never specifically explained. Why did George's father, Mr. Bailey, owe $5,000 to Mr. Potter. There's no specific reason given for that. All right. What was George and Harry doing upstairs while his father and his mother were eating downstairs? That'd be kind of interesting to find out. What was the name of the family dog? Why was George still living at home when he had graduated from high school? I would have thought he'd gone on to college or something like that. All right. Now, it seems to me like that George was actually going to college the night that Harry graduated. If that's the case, what college was George going to? And what was he majoring in? Now, they allowed George and Sam to attend Harry's senior dance. And it looked like it wasn't just those two, it was some other people too. Okay. Now, apparently one of the seniors at the dance had the key that could turn the basketball court into a swimming pool. Why is that? And why did he hand that key to the other kid? Okay. All right. George and Mary are walking home. Who was the guy watching George and Mary as they were walking home? Remember, they had fallen in the swimming pool. They had George had this football uniform on, and Mary had this robe. Well, who was the guy watching him? Okay. Could no one else successfully run the building and loan? Really? What was Harry's major in college? Did Harry receive any honors? Did Harry have a large wedding? And why in the heck didn't Harry tell his mother that he was getting married? Which college did Harry attend also? Which college did Mary attend? She went to college. Nobody told us which college she attended. Why was a crowd standing next to George and Violet as they were talking? Remember, he was talking about walking barefoot and whatever. George was talking about walking barefoot and whatever, and Violet was all upset about it. Okay. Apparently, George had read either a book or a magazine or some sort of newspaper or something that mentioned how plastics could be converted to let's see, soybeans were being converted into plastic. Okay. Where's the article? Is it a magazine? Is it a newspaper? Is it a book? Where did he get this information from? That's never answered. And what job did Sam have for George? Why was Mary's mom listening on the extension? Did George and Mary invest their money as Sam suggested? And what was the investment? Now, how did they keep the rain out of 320 Sycamore? Now, I know in the movie when they went into the honeymoon part of it, there was still rain coming through, but I mean, that was a lot of rain. Gee. Now, why hadn't 320 Sycamore just collapsed by this point? Because lots of windows were broke out of it. It had rained probably many, many a times. It should have just destroyed the foundation after a while. And wouldn't the house be infested with rodents? I mean, who would want to sleep in a house that was infested with rodents? And how did they get the bed into 320 Sycamore? And I'm sure they could have done it eventually, but I mean, in one day? Really? Now, do you remember that Mary smashed the Buffalo Bill record? Did she ever replace it? How could George and Mary afford to renovate 320 Sycamore to make it into their own home? I'd like to know. They didn't have a whole lot of money. So, why didn't Uncle Billy fill out the paperwork before he went to the bank? Remember, George gave Uncle Billy the money to put in the bank, that $8,000. Why did he fill out the paperwork before he ever went to the bank? That way he would never had to have stopped. Okay. Why would George, knowing Uncle Billy and how eccentric he was, okay, let's just say eccentric. Uncle Billy was eccentric. George knew this. Why would he entrust him with $8,000, especially back then? Why didn't Uncle Billy put the money back into his pocket? As soon as he had that paper filled out, he should have immediately put that back in his pocket, then walked up to the teller window. Why didn't Uncle Billy figure out that Mr. Potter had the money? After all, Uncle Billy had talked to Mr. Potter. And why didn't Uncle Billy tell George that he had talked to Mr. Potter? George should have immediately realized this, even if Uncle Billy hadn't. Now, did George honestly think that yelling at Uncle Billy was suddenly going to get Uncle Billy to remember where that money was? I don't think so. Why didn't George just finally tell Mary about the lost money? He had nothing to lose at that point. Why did it take so long to decorate the tree? And what was the deal with the Santa mask? Why was this kid wearing a Santa mask? George loses $8,000 and he spends more money at a bar? Really? I know he was depressed and all, but I would have thought that the first thing he'd try to do is try to get that money. I know he tried to get out of Mr. Potter, but he could have. I'm sure there was some other way he could have got. He could have called Sam Wainwright. Well, he did call Sam Wainwright, and he couldn't get a hold of him. But I'm sure he could have talked to somebody else. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Now, George must have known about the self-perishing clause in the life insurance. Excuse me for just a minute. I bumped the camera. Sorry. So if he knew about that, why would he try to jump off the bridge? And you're telling me that George didn't suffer any hypothermia or frostbite of any kind after he tried to rescue Clarence? Or was it something that Clarence secretly asked God to take away George's hypothermia or frostbite? I don't know. Now, where in the Bible does it state that angels have wings or that they have to earn them? That's not even biblical. And where does it state in the Bible that people that perish, okay, obviously everybody has a terminal point at some point in their lives. Once they perish, they suddenly become angels. That's not even biblical either. Okay. In the alternate reality, 320 Sycamore is still standing. Why? And none of the other kids attempted to save Harry? And what happened to Mr. Martini in the alternate reality? That's never answered either. And still nobody else could have saved the building alone, even in the alternate reality? I don't believe that. And Mr. Potter actually preserved the library? Really? Now, I know that George was slipping and sliding as he was trying to run back home, but you're telling me that he did not break his leg once while he was doing this? Please. All right. Feel free to leave the answers to any and all these questions down here in the comments below. And I will say overall it was a good movie. It really was. And it's a great holiday classic. I'm thrilled that I got a chance to watch it. I've watched it for years. I actually own a copy now. If you guys don't get a chance to watch it, I hope you do. If you have not watched it, please watch the movie because you'll enjoy it. But that's it. I mean, it was a good movie. And even though it's black and white, it's a very good movie. And I hope you guys get a chance to watch it. So, I want to thank you guys very, very much for tuning in on this one. I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Okay, this is the live stream. Thoughts about what I asked? Any thoughts at all? I'd like to hear your feedback. Anything at all? Okay. Well, while you're formulating your feedback on that one, there is another movie I'm going to review, and it is called Silver Streak. It has Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor in it. It was a very good movie, and I have a lot of questions for that as well. And I'm going to start with a huge mistake that they made at the beginning of the movie. If you're not paying attention, you'll not catch this. So, hope you pay attention. We'll see how well you do. Good evening, everyone. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and I'm going to review another movie tonight. This movie is entitled Silver Streak. Before I get started, though, I wanted to let you know I am running a live stream right now, and that's why I'm looking at you at an angle here. My laptop is right next to me, and so there may be some interruptions as I get feedback from my students during the live stream. If you're watching this outside of the live stream, I hope you enjoy this presentation. I have lots of questions to ask, and then I will tell you exactly what I thought of the movie. All righty, so hope you pay attention. Let's see. Now, if you're watching, if you're watching this right now, what I want you to do, if you're watching this on the live stream, don't do anything. But if it's outside the live stream, I want you to get the DVD of Silver Streak and start watching it. And as you do, listen to these questions and see if you can answer them. Okay. And I know that some of the actors in this movie are probably still alive. Not a whole lot of them anymore, but we'll take what we can get. So maybe even some of the producers, the directors, whatever, they may still be alive. Who knows? We'll see if anybody can answer these. Now, first question. How many bags did George Caldwell bring with him to the Silver Streak? This is very important, and you'll find out why in a minute. How much was George Caldwell's fare on the taxi? That's never mentioned. How could the guy grabbing George's bags from the taxi cab get the bags if the cab driver didn't open the trunk? That's a nice question. And how fast did that guy unload the bags from the trunk of the cab? I mean, if you watch carefully, the guy probably only had a few seconds because the cab then whisked away. Watch carefully, you'll see that. Now, George has a first-class compartment on a train, and the partition door doesn't work properly? Really? Okay. A complete stranger asked George how her perfume smells? Really? A grown female on a train like that just suddenly walks up to George without even knowing who he was and asks him what he thought of her perfume. Right. Back then, no. Okay. I'm not sure why I asked this question, but I'll go ahead and ask it. And no one recognizes George? I mean, let's face this. George had edited many books, and I'm sure that his picture was in some magazine or some periodical or something that said he was the editor of books. I mean, and nobody recognized George. Now I know that not a lot of people probably would, but nobody. Okay. Now Mr. Sweet doesn't give any. He gives George a bottle of vitamin E, but he doesn't give him any pamphlets or anything about the vitamin E. He just simply makes a statement. There you go. Right? He didn't give anything to George like that. Mm-hmm. Okay. What was Mr. Sweet drinking? Okay. And George hasn't ever heard of Professor Arthur Shrine. Now, I know a lot of people wouldn't have heard about this guy because he wasn't that well known, but George himself, editing so many books, had never once heard of Arthur Shrine. I don't think so. And what was Mr. Devereaux writing? Okay, George breaks into his compartment, and Mr. Devereaux is writing something. What was he writing? And what brand of shoes was George wearing? Okay, because he actually took them off. So he said these are a brand new pair of shoes. What brand of shoes was he wearing? What song was playing? Okay, and what device was it playing on? Was it a cassette player? Was it some special AM/FM radio that they had for the train? I don't know. Okay. Now, that guy that fell off the train, the one that George saw, was there for several seconds. And you're telling me that Hilly didn't see him at all? I know initially she didn't. I know George saw him first, but you're telling me that Hilly didn't see him before he fell completely off the train? Right. Now, George knocks on the door. And you're telling me that Whiny actually opened the door for George without once asking who he was? Right. And where did Reese come from? Really, he just appeared out of nowhere. Okay, here's another good one. George is thrown off the train, and he actually survives the fall. Interesting. And no part of the train actually hit the cow skull. Really. And George didn't suffer any sunstroke whatsoever. And George's shirt is just not covered in sweat at all. I mean, with as much walking he was done, and in that kind of heat, he should have been covered in sweat by then. And his whole hair should have been soaked. Okay. And George didn't ask for a glass of water first. He walks right up to Rita, and he doesn't say. He just tells her who he is. He didn't say, "Do you have a glass of water?" I mean, he should have been parched by then. When George told Rita for the second time what his name was, why did Rita continue to refer to George as Steve? Really? What other animals did Rita have on her farm? Now, there was a group of people celebrating on the Silver Streak when George finally got back on. What were they celebrating? That's never told. And George finally goes back to his compartment. He shuts the door. Mr. Devereaux slaps Hilly, and George doesn't hear that. Right. And what was George smoking? It certainly wasn't a cigarette, because cigarettes don't do what that was. Okay. Now, Hilly, early on in the movie, told George that the professor was a health nut. Okay, that's very important. So why didn't George figure out that the professor was a fake right away? And Mr. Sweet didn't fall off the train. I mean, that guy didn't have the best coordination. Why did Mr. Sweet open the door without asking first who was there? He's a federal agent. Really? All right. Now, on this one, I'm assuming that they hadn't turned on the lights before they got to the tunnel. And that's why there were no lights. And that's why when he turned it on, okay, so we'll skip that one. And George didn't put the weapon in his pocket, okay? Because he was trying to open up the train door. He should have put the weapon in his pocket before he opened the train door. And the spear gun was loaded. Really? Oh, okay. Now you'll remember in the movie, after he opened up the train door, he finally got on the top of the train. Okay, and George, with not better, hardly any better coordination than Mr. Sweet, George didn't fall off the train as he was confronting Reese. Are you kidding me? And how did George become such an excellent marksman? I'd like to know that. Why was there a train stoplight in the middle of nowhere? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, and George didn't suffer an ounce of frostbite or hypothermia or anything like that. And George didn't see an ounce of wildlife as he's walking along the train tracks. Not one bit of it. Now, George walked into the police station. The sheriff was watching a cops and robbers movie. And George didn't immediately recognize that the action was actually coming from the TV set. He didn't recognize that right off the bat. Now, first, the sheriff tells George to sit down. Then he says, go get a cup of coffee. Why didn't the sheriff just start by saying, get a cup of coffee, then sit down? And the sheriff, now I know that Rembrandt wasn't always a popular guy, but I can tell you, even I, when I was in high school, knew about who Rembrandt was. I didn't know everything about Rembrandt, but I knew some things about Rembrandt. Are you telling me that sheriff didn't know one thing about Rembrandt? Really? Oh. And the sheriff, when he first saw George, didn't he immediately grab his weapon and put it back in his holster? Yeah, right. Oh, and George didn't see the weapon on the television set right away. Right. And George didn't ask the sheriff's nephew what he actually had. Uh-huh. Oh. Suddenly, Grover pops up in the back seat. Now, of course, George is turning the wheel right and left like this, but he didn't just spin the car out of control and wreck them both. Yeah, that guy's got good racer-type coordination. Right. Oh, and the sheriff's nephew left the handcuff keys in the car. Right. Oh, and Grover never thought about the fact that when he tried to start up the car in the used car lot, he never thought about that the sound of the engine would wake up the owner of the place. Right. Oh, How about this? The police never caught up with George or Grover as they stole the car. And George still had cigarettes as they were going all the way to Kansas City. Now, we know where George got the hat and the shoe polish and the radio. Where did he get the gloves? Were they in the pockets of the jacket? And you're telling me that after giving $40 to the guy to get the radio, the hat, the shoe polish, all this stuff, and George still had enough to buy 2 more tickets for the Silver Streak. Right. Because you know Grover didn't have any money. And neither George nor Grover had to show any ID whatsoever to buy the tickets and get back on the train. Right. And neither George nor Grover saw Mr. Devereaux reach for the button. And when they went to that back compartment to get the letters, when Hilly got them out of the safe, why didn't she immediately toss them over to George? Oh, and George and Grover survived the fall off the train? Really? And why did Whiny take Hilly with him? And you're kidding me. The cop actually armed George? Really? How did George know that Mr. Devereaux was stopping at Rockdale? Mr. Devereaux didn't tell him that. Whiny didn't tell him that. And the cops actually want George to go with them as they go over to Rockdale or whatever they were going. And the cops never once attempted to identify Grover. Right. And no one tried to retrieve the Jaguar from Kansas City. You're telling me that the owner of that vehicle didn't contact Kansas City and get his Jaguar back? And when the engineer first saw Mr. Devereaux, even before he saw Mr. Devereaux, why didn't the engineer get off the train? Really? Now, you're telling me that as this train was now a runaway train, it didn't hit a single car or a single rail car as it made its way all the way into Chicago, right? Uh-huh. This was one of the best comedies I've ever watched. It really was a very good movie. I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad I watched it all the way through. I have very fond memories of it. I do have it on DVD. I also have it on a streaming. Okay. It's a very good movie. It really is. And it's well worth watching. Even though you have all these wonderful questions, and I'm sure there's plenty more questions you probably would want to ask of this movie. But anyway, those are things that I think you should think about. So I hope you guys take the time, watch the movie. You will thoroughly enjoy it. Thank you very much for watching this particular presentation. I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Okay. Now then, who else is with me tonight? Okay. We have one more movie to review. All right. Boy. People are dropping off here like flies. Okay. Anyway. Let's go on here, shall we? Good evening, everyone. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and tonight I'm going to actually review Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and I will tell you what I think of the movie in just a little bit. But first of all, I'm going to ask some questions about this movie, questions you may have not thought of. But before I do, I wanted to let you know I am running a live stream right now. That is why you're seeing me at an angle, and I have my laptop right next to me, but I do actually have all my notes right here. And as I ask the questions, if somebody wants to interrupt me on the live stream, I'll be more than happy to talk to them. If you are not watching me on the live stream right now, I want you to take the disc of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, or you can watch on the live stream. Watch this video along with it so you can follow along with the questions. And then there you go. Okay, so let's get to the questions. Why is the phone booth initially gold and in the shape of a crystal? That's never answered. Why is it rotating? Doesn't need to rotate at all. And I don't see any ropes holding this thing and bringing it down gently and safely. I mean, is it magnetic or something? That's never mentioned either. And people are actually bowling and playing miniature golf in the future? Interesting. How many planets do they communicate with? And how do they communicate with other planets? That's never answered. If Bill and Ted ran into a few problems, how could they make the future great in the first place? I mean, they should have succeeded immediately. And then George wouldn't, Rufus, okay? Rufus would not have had to travel back in time anyway, because obviously Bill and Ted succeeded and their world was created. Now, how could Bill and Ted afford electric guitars, a video camera, and an amplifier? What, did Bill's father just give everything to Bill? Okay. How did Missy persuade Bill to call her mom? I'd like to know that. And how long was the courtship of Bill's father and Missy? Because let me tell you something, she had not been out of high school that long. Okay. Now, if Ted is 18 years old, as it is indicated in the movie, how could his father ever force him to go to Oates Military Academy? He could have just told him, hey, I ain't doing nothing. Okay. He could have forced him to get a job, I suppose, but Oates Military Academy? Really? And who are the three guys that Rufus was talking to just before he entered the phone booth and started traveling? And what was Rufus's job title? That's never mentioned. And what is the power supply of the phone booth? And more importantly, where is this power supply? I'd love to know that as well. Now, how does Rufus just happen to know the number he's supposed to dial? What is Bill's father's profession? That's never mentioned. We know that Ted's father's a cop. What's Bill's father's profession? He must have a good job because he's got a lot of stuff. And why is it Bill's father concerned about Bill's grades? And what was Ted eating at the Circle K? And you're telling me at the Circle K, nobody noticed the lightning, nobody's noticed the phone booth. And nobody noticed Rufus either. Now, neither Ted nor Bill, okay, neither Bill nor Ted asked Rufus who he was or why he was there. All right. Dan the Man Cunningham says, sorry I missed the past couple of minutes because I was doing something else. That is fine. You can always catch up later. All right. And neither Bill nor Ted expressed any concern about Rufus knowing their names or about their history report. I'd be asking a few questions. And neither Bill nor Ted recognized themselves, really. Why would Ted tell Ted to wind his watch when he knew that he would forget? I know they weren't exactly the smartest bunch, but I know they had a few brains. That's proven later on. And you're telling me not one soldier in Napoleon's army saw the phone booth, saw Rufus, saw Bill, or saw Ted? Really? No, Napoleon's the first to spot him. Uh-huh. And you're telling me that neither cannonballs or musket balls, neither one actually reached Bill, Ted, Rufus, or the phone booth? Really? And Ted's brother Deacon never heard the phone booth suddenly show up? And Ted's dad never noticed the phone booth? Not once? And Bill calls Ted's dad from a time-traveling phone booth. I mean, the thing's not even connected to anything. Right. Man, that thing's got some amazing technology. Why did it take so long for Ted's dad to leave the house? And no one noticed Bill or Ted in 1879? Why would Billy the Kid make any public announcement whatsoever? He was a fugitive, right? Billy the Kid never inquired about the phone booth at all. I mean, they practically drugged Billy the Kid to the phone booth. He was facing incredible opposition. He never once asked about the phone booth at all. And there were no Greek soldiers whatsoever surrounding Socrates. Oh. And no one noticed or heard that Bill and Ted were putting on medieval armor. Right. And how did Ted fall out of the armor? And, I mean, he fell out of the armor. Gee, he would have had only mere seconds to hide. How did Ted hide? Nobody noticed that? And the guard that confronted Bill never summoned any backup whatsoever. And Henry VIII actually had 2 executioners? Really? And you're telling me that Billy the Kid and Socrates disobeyed Bill and Ted's instructions and actually checked up on Bill and Ted? And no one closed the medieval gate. Right. If the phone booth was traveled by that mace that was being flung around, then how did the phone booth continue to travel? Love to know that. But here's the thing. They spent a great deal of time in medieval England. If you watch carefully, they spent a great deal of time in medieval England. If the clock in San Dimas is always running, wouldn't they, by the time they got out of medieval England, been late to their history report? Think about it. And what caused Bill to notice that the phone booth was broken? And when he first noticed that something was wrong with the booth, why didn't he just stop the journey to find out what was wrong with it before he proceeded on? Now, when Billy the Kid entered the phone booth, I don't recall Billy the Kid having a rope with him when he did that. So where did he get the rope from? And you're telling me that no one attempted to stop Bill or Ted from kidnapping Beethoven. Right. Maybe Billy the Kid grabbed his weapon or something. I don't know. Anyway. Now, when the phone booth is in the circuits of time, everybody can stand up in the phone booth. You could probably put 10, 12 people in there. But then it turns the phone booth right side up. You can't fit 12 people in a phone booth. Maybe 4 or 5 possibly, but 12? Are you kidding? So how'd they keep inside the phone booth? Oh, and the antenna is broken, but yet they were able to go to all of their destinations. And how did Rufus know how much time they had left? Okay, the phone booth landed on the water hose. I would have thought the pressure built up in the hose from the phone booth landing on it would be enough to break the water hose, and it should have gone kapoof at that point. That'd be a lot of water pressure. That ever happened? Really? And Missy never asked about the phone booth or anybody inside? Really? And Missy didn't recognize a single person that stepped out of that phone booth. And how long did it take everybody to do all those chores? Yeah. They keep saying they don't have much time, but they got a time machine. Why would Napoleon go to Waterloo? He could have gone to a number of places from the bowling alley. And think about that. How would Napoleon have gotten any food? Because he had eaten the ice cream the night before, but he would have been hungry for breakfast. Where did he get all his food? And nobody noticed Napoleon, not even the police. Right. And now Napoleon took off his military uniform and he put something else on at Waterloo. What the heck was he wearing? Now, you know that when Abraham Lincoln walked in that photo studio, he had his hat on. Obviously, the guy could have noticed right off the bat that Abraham Lincoln's beard was real. Then why in the heck did the clerk at the photo studio ask for Lincoln's hat and beard back? He should have known right off the bat that those were both his. Now, the clerk at the music store should have appreciated Beethoven's playing because Beethoven was actually attracting a lot of customers. Why would he make Beethoven stop? He probably should have let the guy play all day. Now, you're telling me that Billy the Kid had some particular reason to use his weapon inside of a wall? He should have known that just holding it would have been enough to have scared everybody off. He didn't have to actually use it. I mean, what was it, adrenaline rush or something? I don't know. That would be kind of a waste of ammunition. I don't think Billy the Kid would waste ammunition. Why couldn't Bill and Ted just have actually traveled back to the report with all these people? They had a time machine. They could have done that easily. I mean, think about it. They time travel back to give themselves the keys, to set up the tape recorder, to set up the piece of paper that they wrote that message on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All they had to do is time travel back and give the report. They had plenty of time. Oh, and they remembered now think about this, they actually remembered the keys, the typewritten paper, the tape recorder, the trash can. Really? They remember all of this after the report was done? This is Bill and Ted we're talking about here. Oh, and the guy at the other cubicle. Remember, they had been reading this piece of paper aloud in that one cubicle. Bill and Ted was. And the guy at the other cubicle didn't hear Bill and Ted murmuring about amongst themselves what this piece of paper said. Really? And he didn't even notice. This guy at this other cubicle didn't even notice that Bill and Ted had actually entered the other cubicle. He never noticed any of that. And Bill and Ted were actually able to open the jail window. Really? And Bill and Ted were allowed to keep the phone booth after the report was done. Uh-huh. And Rufus was actually able to open the garage door. There's a radical thought. Okay. Overall, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is a great movie. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I have it in my collection. I watch it from time to time. It was a good movie. I could have asked a lot more questions on this thing, but we have to take it into account that this is, number one, a comedy, and number two, Bill and Ted were not all that bright. So some of this you just kind of have to dismiss as the ignorance of Bill and Ted. Okay, so you can't really get too serious with the thing. But as you can see, even as ignorant as Bill and Ted was in this movie, really? Anyway, I want to thank you very much for watching this presentation. If you want to answer any and all these questions, please leave the answers down here in the comments below. I will say one more thing. There is a third Bill and Ted movie coming out. It is called Bill and Ted Face the Music. I am very anxious to see this movie. I will also say that I have a lot of compassion and sympathy for those working at the Circle K. Yes, the Circle K is a real gas station. They have them all across the United States. Anybody working in one of those, because of this Bill and Ted movie, there's going to be a big advertising campaign. I can just about imagine the business they're going to have because of Bill and Ted. So I have a lot of compassion for them. So if you are in a Circle K, have compassion for the clerks because they're going to have to deal with a lot of stuff. All right. I want to thank you very much for watching this particular presentation. You guys have a wonderful evening. I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Woo! What do you guys think of this live stream so far? We are well into an hour's worth of it. All right. Now, as I told you guys at the beginning of this presentation, I'm going to take an intermission at this moment. And so I don't want you guys going away. I really don't. I'm going to put this over the screen until I get back from my intermission, and then I will be right back. So please leave your comments in the live stream right here. I will read them just as soon as I get back, and I'll be back in about 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, that's too big. Let's get it. There we go. I'll be right back. Okay. I want to thank everybody for staying tuned. Like I said, I had to do this intermission. Set the camera back up. Oh, come on. Don't do this. Okay. All right. Now, I actually emailed myself a bunch of notes. As I go through these notes, I will I'll be going back and forth because I have to shift from tab to tab on my Ubuntu Linux. Okay. So if you leave me any comments while I'm taping, I will answer those in just a couple of minutes. So don't think I'm ignoring you because I'm not. Okay. So we'll go on. Oh, quit that. Okay, go ahead. Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Now we'll save that for last. Okay. This video response is going to go out to Sheena Easton, and that's because you uploaded a music video entitled Telephone, or otherwise known as Long Distance Love Affair. I thoroughly enjoyed your song, and I have listened to it for years. And on top of that, I did watch your entire music video, and it's funny. It's really very hilarious. But I had a few questions about your song, and I'm going to address the lyrics specifically. Okay, we're going to play as though you are the person that's being described in the lyrics, and hopefully you can answer these questions. And if you can leave the answers to all those questions down here in the comments below. Let's get into the questions. Why were you away from him for such a long time? What has been going on? Why can't you find him? Why isn't he ever home? Okay. What message did you want to give to him? And he actually sent you a letter to break up with you? Like I said, feel free to leave the answers to any and all these questions down here in the comments below. And if you happen not to be Sheena Easton right now and you're watching this video, feel free to go over to Sheena Easton's YouTube channel, watch her music videos, rate her music videos, subscribe to her YouTube channel if you'd like, and more importantly, tell her that the Speed Learner sent you. All right, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Okay. All right, let's go on to the next one. All right. This video response is going to go out to Diana Ross, and that's because you uploaded a music video entitled, Do You Know Where You're Going To? It is a very lovely song. Anybody that listens to it will really love this song. It's kind of sad, but it's rich in music. There's violins in this thing. There is a flute in this thing. It's very well done. It is a great piece of music. If you have not listened to it, you should. Okay, but I did have a few questions about the lyrics, and I thought, now I do realize now when I first heard this song so many years ago, I had no idea that it actually came from a play / movie. Okay, it started off as a play, then it had a movie. I didn't realize that right off the bat. So, but now that I do, well, I'm just going to focus on the lyrics as though it had never come from either one. I'm gonna actually treat this as though it never came from anybody. Okay? So we're just going to go strictly by the lyrics and not by the movie or the play. Okay? What things is life showing you? What are you hoping for? Why are the doors closed? What fantasies were filling your mind? What questions were you asking her? What did you plan? What dreams slipped through your hands? All right, feel free to leave the answers to any and all these questions down here in the comments below. And if you happen not to be Diana Ross and you're watching this video right now, feel free to go over to Diana Ross's YouTube channel, watch her videos, rate her videos, comment on her videos, subscribe to her YouTube channel if you like, and more importantly, tell her that the Speed Learner sent you. All right, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Now, for those of you who are still standing around, I will say when it comes to the song Telephone, I would give that a solid B. As for Do You Know Where You're Going To, that song is an A+. Solid A+. Okay? But, we have another song. And guess what I'm going to give it as a grade? An F-. Yes, you guys have been waiting a very long time to hear the F- song. Now you're going to find out why it gets an F-. So stay tuned. You're going to love this one. This video response is going to go out to Rick Dees and his cast of idiots, and that's because you guys uploaded a music video entitled Disco Duck. Yes, I heard this song back in the 70s, and I can honestly tell you that this song was a piece of garbage. Really, I give this song an F- because it is really that bad. So, I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to ask a few questions about it. But really, this thing was pretty bad. Anyway, here are the questions. In what way did you want the ladies to treat you? What caused you to change into the disco duck? Why did the music stop? If the music stopped, why did you get out of your chair again? This song, I know they meant it to be comedic, but let me tell you something. I've heard songs like King Tut, and I've heard songs like Southern Air, and I can tell you the King Tut and Southern Air were much better than this. And then they tried to make this thing mainstream. Okay, this was supposed to be a mainstream music song. I'm telling you, it was awful. It was horrible. I hope I never have to hear it again. So anyway, I give this song an F- for a lot of reasons. All right, but if you guys really want to hear this, and you're watching this right now, you can go over to Rick Dees and his Cast of Idiots YouTube channel, watch their videos, however many they have, rate their videos, subscribe to their channel if you like. I can't imagine why, but okay. And more importantly, if you want to, tell them that the Speed Learner sent you. All right. I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Okay. Dan the Man Cunningham says, I have to leave for now. However, I will finish watching the live stream tomorrow. Okay. Sorry to see you go. Thanks for watching, and hopefully some others will show up here in a little bit. All right. This video response is going to go out to Fleetwood Mac, and that's because you uploaded a music video entitled Go Your Own Way. And I remember this song very well. It was a great song when it first came out. It's still a great song today, and I'm glad you guys did it. I am well aware that there is a lady, and she has a band called Lissy, and she has redone the song. And I have to say, I'm less impressed by what she did. She actually slowed the song down. And I really feel that that's not the way you listen to this song. But anyway, the original song is great, fantastic. I give it an A+. But anyway, I had a few questions about the song, and I'd like to see if you guys can answer them. And I know that the members of Fleetwood Mac are still alive today, so there's a very good chance that they might be able to answer these questions. All right. Why are you unsure if loving her is the right thing to do? What in your world would you give to her? Why won't she take it from you? Why would she prefer another lonely day? What turned around? What is waiting for her? All right, if you have the answers to any and all these questions, leave them down here in the comments below. And if you are not Fleetwood Mac and you're watching this right now, go over to Fleetwood Mac's YouTube channel, watch their videos, rate their videos, comment on their videos, subscribe to their channel if you'd like, and more importantly, tell them that the Speed Learner sent you. All right, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Whew. Okay. This video response is going to go out to Rednecks, and that's because you uploaded a music video entitled Cotton Eye Joe. I watched your video, and first I'll tell you that it is actually a nice song. I was kind of amazed. I really kind of liked it. I would give it a solid B. It's not exactly into my particular repertoire, but it's not a bad song either. It's really kind of nice. It's very funny. The music video was very, very funny. So yeah, I have to give this one a solid B. Not necessarily an A, but a B anyway. So it really was good. All right, and so I did have a few questions about it, and I thought somebody around there could actually answer them, and hopefully they will. All righty. I will have to say that I do like the mix of country and rock music. It reminds me of the old urban cowboy days. So, yeah, that's a good song. All right. It's also a great dance song. And like I said, the music video was well choreographed too. So anyway, enough of that. Let's ask these questions. Why was he riding through fields? Why was he riding a horse or some vehicle? Oh, okay. Was he riding a horse or some vehicle? What did Cotton Eye Joe consider fun? What did Cotton Eye Joe do to the girls? Did anyone confront Cotton Eye Joe? All right, feel free to leave the answers to all these questions down here in the comment below. And if you are not Rednecks and you're watching this video right now, feel free to go over to Rednecks' YouTube channel, watch their videos, rate their videos, comment on their videos, subscribe to their channel if you'd like. And more importantly, tell them that the Speed Learner sent you. All right, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Okay. This video response is going to go out to Steve Martin, and that's because you uploaded a video entitled King Tut, and this was first shown, and this is the first time I remember it. I actually watched this on Saturday Night Live, and it was incredible. It actually was incredible. I have to say, it well deserves an A. It was a really good song. I would actually give it an A+, to be honest with you. It was a really good song. It was really comedic. It was fun to listen to. It was actually more fun to watch on the actual screen. So, Steve Martin, you did a really good job. However, according to the lyrics, I have a few questions. So let's see if you can answer the questions. Okay. Why was he born in Arizona? Why did he move to another country? How much money do you have? What style did the ladies love? How did he catch the crocodile? Feel free to leave the answers to any and all these questions down here in the comments below. And if you are Steve Martin and you are watching this right now, feel free to go over to Steve Martin's YouTube channel, watch his videos, rate his videos, comment on his videos, and more importantly, tell him that the Speed Learner sent you. All right, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Uh-huh. Okay. This video response is going to go out to Chicago, the band Chicago, and that is because they uploaded a music video entitled Hard to Say I'm Sorry, and this one kind of comes with a surprise because if you think the song ends the way a lot of people think it ends, you're in a giant surprise because this song actually has a second part called Get Away. And if you actually click the hyperlink down here in the description below, you will see that. Okay. Now, also keep in mind that if you want to see some other of my reviews, because I review music videos on a regular basis, you can actually click the box, which will appear on the upper part of this video. Okay. So, anyway, overall, this is a good song. Very good. I keep both parts because I like both. And I give this song a solid A. I really do. It's a really good song. I'm glad I was able to listen to it. All right. So I do have a few questions about the song, however, and it's not just the part that's how to say I'm sorry or hard to say I'm sorry, but also the part called Get Away. So here are the questions. What makes her think that everybody needs time to be separate from their spouses? Why is it so hard for you to apologize? Now, this is according to the lyrics here. Why do you want her to stay? What have you been through? How do you intend to make it up to her? What did you say? What kept you away? What would sweep you away? Why will she be the lucky one? Okay, now remember, there's a second part to this song called Get Away. So, on the specific part called Get Away, how long will it take the both of you to get there, wherever you're going? Where is everyone else? How will you take her there? All right. Feel free to leave the answers to any and all these questions down here in the comments below. And if you happen not to be the band Chicago and you're watching this video right now, feel free to go over to Chicago's YouTube channel, watch their videos, rate their videos, comment on their videos, subscribe to their channel if you'd like, and more importantly, tell them that the Speed Learner sent you. All right, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Whew. Seems that only one person's watching right now. We take what we can get. All right. Okay. This video response is going to go out to River Rat Mafia, and that's because you uploaded a blah, 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 blah. Oops. All right. There we go. Let's try that again, shall we, folks? This video response is going to go out to River Rat Mafia, and that's because you uploaded a video entitled 2019 Mudfest in Taylorville, Illinois. I watched your video, and I decided to ask you a few questions about your video. Did you get caught in rush hour traffic when you drove to Taylorville? How did you get the mud off your vehicles once the event was over? How much rain did Taylorville receive before the event? I saw vendors in your video. What were they selling? Did you see any wildlife as you participated in the event? How long is the course? Were any of the vehicles damaged in the event? How many vehicles got stuck in the mud? What band played at the event? Feel free to leave the answers to any and all these questions down here in the comments below. And if you happen not to be River Rat Mafia and you're watching this video right now, feel free to go over to River Rat Mafia's YouTube channel, watch their videos, rate their videos, comment on their videos, subscribe to their channel if you'd like, and more importantly, tell them that the Speed Learner sent you. All right, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Oh, boy. This video response is going to go out to Eric Rutherford, and that's because you uploaded a video entitled In-Car Demo Derby. I watched your entire video, and I decided to ask a few questions about your video. How many people attended the event? What make and model of vehicle were you driving? Did you win any prizes in this event? Did it rain prior to the event? How much damage did your vehicle receive? Feel free to answer any and all these questions down here in the comments below. And if you happen not to be Eric Rutherford and you're watching this video right now, feel free to go over to Eric Rutherford's YouTube channel, watch his videos, rate his videos, comment on his videos, subscribe to his channel if you'd like, and more importantly, tell him that the Speed Learner sent you. All right, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. All right. Okay. This video response is going to go out to Volk Party, and that's because let's try that again, shall we? This video response is going to go out to Volk Party, and that's because you uploaded a video entitled New York Butt Eating. I watched your video, and I decided to ask you a few questions about your video. What is Buck's favorite toy? What is Buck's favorite food? Do you have any other pets? Feel free to leave the answers to any and all these questions down here in the comments below. And if you happen not to be Volk Party and you're watching this video right now, feel free to go over to Volk Party's YouTube channel, watch his videos, rate his videos, comment on his videos, subscribe to his channel if you'd like, and more importantly, tell him that the speed learner sent you. All right, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Okay. We got another person. Well, we had another person in our live stream. If you show up in my live stream, let me know who you are. Let me get something to drink here for a minute. Okay. Here we go. This video response is going to go out to Dave Winkler, and that's because you uploaded a video entitled Pokemon Go is Crazy. I watched your entire video, and I decided to ask you a few questions about your video. Who is your favorite Sesame Street character? What is your favorite movie? How many years have you been a bus driver? How was the visually impaired person playing Pokemon? Does your wife still play Pokemon Go? What's your wife's favorite Pokemon character? All right, feel free to leave the answers to all these questions down here in the comments below. And if you happen not to be Dave Winkler and you're watching this video right now, feel free to go over to Dave Winkler's YouTube channel, watch his videos, rate his videos, comment on his videos, subscribe to his channel if you'd like, and more importantly, tell him that the speed learner sent you. All right, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Let's see. Anybody else joining me tonight? Nope. Okay. This video response is going to go out to Scott Braun, and that's because you uploaded a video entitled December 12th, 2019. I watched your entire video, and I decided to ask you a few questions about your video. Who was the conductor? How many children were performing in this choir? Where was this concert? How many songs did the children sing? Where were the Christmas decorations? Feel free to leave the answers to any and all these questions down here in the comments below. And if you happen not to be Scott Braun and you're watching this video right now, feel free to go over to Scott Braun's YouTube channel, watch his videos, rate his videos, comment on his videos, and more importantly, subscribe to his channel if you'd like. And more importantly, tell him that the speed learner sent you. All right, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. I think this is one of the longest, well, maybe not, I don't know, but it's been one of the longest live streams I've ever done. Hope you guys have been enjoying this so far. Who would have thought I'd review 3 movies plus songs and everything else? But anyway, we have more work to do. All right. This video response is going to go out to the beautiful Golden Hour, and that's because you uploaded a video entitled A Pretty Doll Sitting on My Antique Victorian East Lake Chair. I watched your entire video, and I decided to ask you a few questions about your video. What type of wood is the chair made out of? How old is the doll? Did you make the doll's outfit? Did you have to special order the doll? Feel free to leave the answers to any and all these questions down here in the comments below. And if you happen not to be the beautiful Golden Hour and you're watching this video right now, feel free to go over to the beautiful Golden Hour's YouTube channel, watch her videos, rate her videos, comment on her videos, Subscribe to her channel if you'd like. And more importantly, tell her that the Speed Learner sent you. All right. I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. All right. Ooh, I'm getting parched. All right. This video response is going to go out to SDS BBQ, and that's because you uploaded a video entitled Using Tracy the Traeger Pro 22 as an Outdoor Oven. I watched your entire video, and I decided to ask you a few questions about your video. But first of all, I'm sorry you became ill, and I hope you recover quickly. And I hope by now you have recovered, but if you haven't yet, I hope you recover soon. Okay. Now then, how long did it take you to warm up your grill? And I know it's not really a grill. I don't know what exactly it is, but I guess it's a Traeger. Okay, I've never heard of a Traeger before. All right. How old is your Traeger? Okay. Why did you place water pans inside of your Traeger? What is the difference between the various pellets? You said you were using different kinds of pellets. What's the difference between them? Do you know what they were constructing across the street? On the chicken parmesan, I saw a sauce. What was the sauce made out of? What sauce was on top of the meatloaf? Did you use real butter on the mashed potatoes, or did you use just plain margarine? And what were you using to measure the temperature of the food? Because I saw you were measuring it several times. Now, I also saw some kind of a green seasoning on the top of the potatoes. What was the green seasoning? Feel free to leave the answers to any and all these questions down here in the comments below. And if you happen not to be SDS BBQ and you're watching this video right now, feel free to go over to SDS BBQ's YouTube channel, watch his videos, rate his videos, comment on his videos, subscribe to his channel if you'd like, and more importantly, tell him that the Speed Learner sent you. I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Anybody else joining me tonight? I guess not. Okay. This video response is going to go out to Cocaina, and that's because you uploaded a video entitled WRA 1004 Remix. I watched your entire video, and I decided to ask you a few questions about your video. What is the name of the camel? I couldn't read the sign on the left. Where were you riding the camel? What was your brother eating? What did you like most about the hotel you were staying at? What historical landmarks did you see in the city? How many villages did you see? What kinds of food were they selling at the stands? Did you get a chance to ride in a boat or go swimming? At near the end of the video, you show this lake or ocean or I don't know, some big body of water, and I was wondering if you got a chance to ride a boat or possibly go swimming in it. I don't know. Feel free to leave the answers to any and all these questions down here in the comments below. And if you are not Cocaina and you're watching this video right now, feel free to go over to Cocaina's YouTube channel, watch his videos, rate his videos, comment on his videos, subscribe to his channel if you like, and more importantly, tell him the Speed Learner sent you. All right, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Okay. Okay. This video response is going to go out to Stephen Joseph Hinson, and that's because you uploaded a video entitled May 24th, 2020. I watched your entire video, and I decided to ask you a few questions about your video. I saw a guy reading a paper. What was he reading? I saw what looked like snow on the ground. How much snow did you receive before you recorded this video? How long did it take them to restore the exterior of the gas station? How large is the new sign? What was the featured item on the gas station's menu? And I know it doesn't work anymore, but back in the day, what was their featured item? What other Route 66 attractions are nearby this restored gas station? Feel free to leave the answers to any and all these questions down here in the comments below. And before I say anything else, I want to tell you that there are new Route 66 Wayside markers in Illinois right now. And they're scattered all over the state. There's approximately 70 of these things. And some of them have little passport stations. You put a piece of paper on the passport station, you can pencil rub them. Others have buttons on them, and if you press the button, they'll tell you a story about whatever the sign is talking about. Okay, and if you want to find out where a lot of these signs are, you can come over to my YouTube channel, and I have videos that will show you exactly where they are. So if you really want to go out and take a look at this, feel free to do so. And if you have any questions for me, let me know. In the meantime, if you are not Stephen Joseph Hinson and you're watching this video right now, feel free to go over to Stephen Joseph Hinson's YouTube channel. Watch his videos, rate his videos, comment on his videos, subscribe to his channel if you like, and more importantly, tell him that the Speed Learner sent you. All right, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Huh. Okay. No. This video response is going to go out to Valerie Reese, and that's because you uploaded a video entitled, hang on just a second here, Visiting a Country Store. All right. I watched your entire video, and I decided to ask you a few questions about your video. How old are the cannons in front of the store? What is the featured item on the menu? Did you encounter any rush hour traffic as you traveled to the store? Was there any seasoning in the soup? In what recipe were you going to use the cheese curd? Did you get any bacon? Feel free to leave the answers to any and all these questions down here in the comments below. And if you happen not to be Valerie Reese and you're watching this video right now, feel free to go over to Valerie Reese's YouTube channel. Watch her videos, rate her videos, comment on her videos, subscribe to her channel if you'd like, and more importantly, tell her that the Speed Learner sent you. All right, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. All right. For those of you who have endured so long, thank you very much. And we got a couple more. You thought this was over, but it's not. Like, oh my gosh. Let's do this. This video response is going to go out to Mark Ballinger, and I wish I could say the title of the video right here on this YouTube channel, but the thing is that the YouTube censors would have a field day with me. So I will leave a hyperlink to your video right down here in the description below, and anybody that wants to watch it, they are welcome to do so. Excuse me. Now, I did manage to watch your entire video, and Excuse me. Wow. Let's try that again. This video response is going to go out to Mark Ballinger, and that's because you uploaded a video. Yeah, you really did, didn't you? Okay. Let's try that again. This video response is going to go out to Mark Ballinger, and that's because you uploaded a video. I wish I could read the title of the video in this particular video, but you know how the YouTube censors are. They wouldn't like that very much. So I'm going to go ahead and leave a hyperlink to your video right down here in the description below. Anyway, I watched your entire video, and I decided to give you some commentary about your video because I watched the whole thing. Now, first of all, you have an interesting logic concerning this topic, but there are a few details that I think you missed. So I will interject these specific details that I think you overlooked. Okay? The people Paul was addressing were, for the most part, illiterate. Today, most people in the United States are, for the most part, very literate. But many young people in the United States today don't possess highly profitable employment skills. Okay, back in their day, they did. Today, not so much. So even though they're more literate than they used to be, in today's society, try to find people that know a lot of carpentry or plumbing or anything like that. It's a lot harder. Well, I will say a lot, but it is harder to find people these days with really good skills. Unlike even the employers are having a hard time finding decent workers with those kind of skills. And don't tell me that didn't happen. Just talk to them. They'll tell you. They have a harder and harder time every year trying to find people like that. So anyway, all right. Fortunately, I addressed this issue on my YouTube channel. If you ever want to look through my videos, you are more than welcome to do so. I hope you do, and I hope you share it with everybody. All right. The people Paul was addressing also lived in an agrarian society. Do we live in an agrarian society? Well, some of the people here in the United States actually do, but there are a lot of people in the United States that don't live in an agrarian society. They don't live on farms like they did back then. Okay? In the days of Paul, land ownership was very important. Today, not so much. Okay? So, land ownership for people in the United States is not as much of a priority as it was way back in the days of Paul. Also, keep in mind that modern photography didn't exist during the first century. So lusting after a lady back in those days was a literal insult to the neighbors of the person who was lusting. It's true. And keep in mind that marriages back then were arranged. This is not the case in the United States today. As a matter of fact, in the United States today, if guys, and I have to say this because I've seen this so many times, if guys are not practicing regular chastity, yeah, they can get themselves a heck of a lot of trouble. And I can cite several cases where that happens, but I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, yeah, guys practicing chastity today is a lot more important than it was back in Paul's day. And that's what I got to say about that. Anyway, the people that Paul was addressing grew up in an era where parents would train their children on their job skills. For instance, if someone in a village back in Paul's day was a carpenter, their children would most likely become carpenters. Many children in the United States today are not forced to learn the skills their parents have. So if someone in the United States is a carpenter, then it's probably unlikely, but not impossible, obviously, but it's not highly likely that any or all of their children will become carpenters. That's a fact. So there are a lot of differences between first century Judea and Paul's audiences and what we have today. Paul was also addressing a crowd whose wives and daughters didn't have the right to vote or own property or do much of anything else. They didn't have a whole lot of rights, period. These ladies were far more dependent on gentlemen than ladies that live in the United States today are. Okay, so the ladies that lived back in the first century were a lot more dependent on gentlemen than ladies of the modern day era. So that makes a big difference in your argument. All right. So applying your reasoning to citizens of the United States today is going to be a tough sell, okay? Because you're dealing with two different societies. Remember, some United States citizens don't even place a high value on conceiving children, raising children, or even getting married at all. They just don't. To them, a marriage license is like a little piece of paper. You sign it, and 5 years later, you dump the spouse. I didn't see any of that being addressed in your video. Are these topics ever raised in churches in the United States today? I'm sorry to say that I have been in several churches, and rarely are any of these topics that I've discussed in this video ever been brought up in those churches. Oh, once in a while you hear about it, but not very much. Really, you'd be surprised. So I would like to see your feedback on all of this. This would be interesting to see. So if you want to give me any feedback, you want to make a video, or you want to just leave a comment, feel free to do so. All right. I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. This video response is going to go to far away distance, and that's because you uploaded a video entitled, "I've been waiting 2 years to share this." Well, I'm glad that you're finally able to share whatever you're sharing here. I watched your entire, well, let's just say I watched the first 5 minutes and 30 seconds of your video. It was a little over 7 minutes long. After about the first 5 minutes and 30 seconds, like, okay, is this ever going to come to a stop? But anyway, the content wasn't bad. It just, in presentation, I'm sitting here going, okay, can you get to the point and let's move on a little bit? But I mean, you know, what you were discussing was perfectly fine. It's just, I thought it was a little long-winded, but okay. But I did watch that much of your video, and I decided to ask you a few questions about your video. Okay. Now, who created the Surge project? You definitely wanted people to check out the Surge project. I have not done so yet, but I probably will at some point. But I'd like to know who created it and what their motivation was. Okay. Now, I wasn't sure at the beginning of your video, you didn't explain this very well, but after I got closer to the end, I finally figured it out. You are actually creating these t-shirts and sweatshirts and whatever shirts that you're creating to raise money to help build a church in some foreign nation. You actually mentioned that in your video. I'll let people go ahead and watch that. I can see that that's what you're trying to do, and I'm sure that everybody will want to check out those shirts. So why did it take so long to pick a design for the shirts you plan to sell? Well, anyway, another piece of feedback I'd like to give you on this is that you weren't very precise on your etymology. Okay, now, if you don't know what etymology is, that is the study of word origins. And I'm going to be a little more precise than you were in your video And that's because when certain people watch this, they may catch you on it. And I'd rather them not catch you on this because it wasn't as precise as it should have been. But anyway, the Latin etymology of the word encourage goes like this. The Latin prefix in, which in Old French it was spelled en, but in Latin it was spelled in, which means in or putting something into. That's what it really means, okay? Years later, as French evolved, it adopted the meaning of causing to be, but that was not originally how it was, all right? In the Old French version, it was the word was creating, okay? So the word courage itself comes from the Latin word cor, which means the heart, okay? Anything involving the heart, okay? Now, I didn't see anywhere in your video that you mentioned that Elijah was an Old Testament Jewish prophet. That's what he was, okay? Now, God chose Elijah to be a prophet because he had faith in God. You said we had faith. Faith in what? Faith in God. That was the key, all right? And so God saw Elijah's faith in him, and that encouraged God to finally appoint him to not only be a prophet, but to do all these wonderful things that you mentioned in the video. And that's where I decided to actually give you some commentary and tell you that I think these are the kinds of things that I would have liked to see mentioned in your video. But overall, it wasn't a bad video. It just, I think that there was things that maybe you could have said that would have made a little more difference. And I think, like I said, it just, your video seemed to be a little long-winded. By the 5.5 minute mark, I was like, okay, well, does this thing ever end? But I mean, the material itself was not bad. It just there was things that I think you should have mentioned that you didn't, and more importantly, I think that it just took you too long to make your point. But I do want to wish you luck with your shirts, and I hope everything goes well with them. And let me know how things go. I'd like to hear from you. And hopefully one of these days I'll review yet another one of your videos. All right. I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Whew. Well, I got a second person in here now. I don't know who it is. Whoever you are, welcome. Let me know who you are. Wowee. Now, if you guys want to continue your endurance, the final thing I'm going to do tonight is redo one of my videos. I didn't do it right the last time, and I'm going to do it right this time. And let me see if I can find what I'm looking for here. T. Oh. Okay. All right. I want to thank you guys for being so patient with me and watching all this wonderful stuff. Let's see. I need to find my gallery. Yes, that's it. All right. Delete all that. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to redo my part 3 of my review of the features of my Samsung phone. Okay, so we're going to go back up here. No, I don't want to do that. Go away. I'm now going to continue my video series on how to use a Samsung J3 Orbit smartphone with a lesson on how to send and receive text messages. All right. And throughout this video, I'm going to overlay images from my phone onto the screen. You'll still hear my voice, but you will actually see how this actually works. Okay. The first thing you will tap is the text message icon, and you should be seeing a picture right now showing you all this. When you click the icon, you will see a list of text messages that you've received. You will also see the words conversations and contacts on the bottom of the screen. I will indicate those with arrows. Okay, and when you see the pictures, you'll see the arrows. Okay, as you can see, the word conversations is not only highlighted in blue, but there are actual dots underneath the word. If you tap the word contacts, you will see information about all the people you stored in your contact list. Now, I'm not going to show you who I've put in my contact list, but you can see who you put in your contact list if you've done that. Okay. Now, notice the blue circle on the bottom of the screen. You will see the text message icon inside the blue circle. If you tap the blue circle, you will be able to prepare a text to send to someone. I will cover sending a text later in this video. Okay, and we'll get into that in just a second. Now, if you tap the magnifying glass icon, you can search for a specific text message that you've received. I'm assuming that you can type the phone number of the person you received the text from. Or perhaps you can search for the subject of the text. Feel free to test out the search feature and let me know in the comments below how it works. Okay, please let me know. Reading a text is rather easy. Just tap the message you want to read. But keep in mind that each text message will cost you if you have a prepaid plan. Okay? I have prepaid, so it does cost me. So you may not want to read every single text. So what do you do if you want to delete the text messages you don't want? First, tap the 3 dots next to the magnifying glass. When you do, you will see a menu. Tap the word edit. You could tap the messages that you don't want. Okay, you can just tap each message you don't want. Or you can tap the circle next to the word all. If you do that, all the text messages that you don't want, I mean, every single one of them will all be highlighted. So you have to be kind of careful. If you hit all text messages will be deleted. Whether you want them or not want them, they'll all be deleted anyway. Okay? All right. On the bottom, now one of the things you could do is if you tap all and you highlight all your messages, you can tap on the messages that you do want to keep and they'll be unhighlighted. Okay, so even though all your messages are highlighted, you can tap certain ones and they will not be highlighted anymore. So that might be something you might want to do. Okay. On the bottom of the screen, you will see a trash can. Under the trash can, you will see the word delete. If you tap the trash can, a menu will appear. If you tap the word cancel, nothing's going to happen to any of those texts. However, if you tap the word delete, all those text messages will be gone. So you got to be careful deleting text messages because if you want to keep something, if it's highlighted, it'll delete it. Okay. So how do you send a text message to an email address? Okay. Now, if you're just sending it from one phone to the other, you can just type in the phone number of the person you're sending it to, and then just hit send and it'll go. But what if you want to send it to somebody's email? Okay. First, tap the message icon encased in the circle. Then tap the solid line at the top of the screen. Use the keyboard to type the email address on the top of the solid line. At the bottom of the screen, you will see a plus sign. Tap the box the plus sign is in. When your keyboard appears, type your message into the box. As you can see, there is a happy face icon on the right side of the box. You can include an emoji in your text message. Whether you include an emoji or not, once you finish your text message, tap the arrow enclosed in the green circle. This will send the text message to the email you designated at the top of the screen. Okay. Now then, what if you want to send an email to a smartphone as a text? Okay, so you're on your laptop or desktop. You're not on your phone anymore. You're on your laptop or desktop. You want to send an email from your email address to somebody else's smartphone, and they can receive it as a text. How do you do that? First, before you ever try to do something like this, talk to the person you want to send it to. And you can either call them or you can talk to them in person. Have them send a text to your email. Okay. When you do, you're going to see a funky email address. First, it's going to contain the phone number of the person's smartphone. Okay, you're getting ready to send a message to a person's smartphone. They first send a text to your email, and in there is going to be the phone number of their smartphone. Okay. Also, you're going to see the @ sign, and you're going to see the company that they're subscribed to. Okay, because some people have phones that come from Verizon, some people have phones that come from T-Mobile. Some people have phones that come from a place, I believe mine is VTech. Okay. Other places, that kind of thing. And the company that they're using for their smartphone, that address will be in the it'll show up on your text. Or it'll actually show up in your email. Sorry, it'll show up in your email. Okay. So look at the to line of your email, and you will see the phone number they sent it from, and also the company that they are subscribed to from their phone company. Okay. Copy everything. Copy that whole address. Okay. And once you do that, let's go on here. Then start your email. Okay. Make sure that you place in the email you're going to send to their phone the address that you just copied. Okay. Once you do that, then compose the email like normal, and then go ahead and send it. And as soon as you do, their phone will receive it as though it were a text message. All right. Now you know how to send a text to a person. In my next video, I will show you how to use the calendar feature on your smartphone. I want to thank you very much for watching this particular presentation, and I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Woo! Well, I'm glad somebody liked this live stream. Do you know that I have been on this thing for 2 hours and 15 minutes? That's a lot of stuff to cover in one evening. I felt I owed you guys all this. I really did. And I'm glad I was able to do this for you. And For those of you who missed this live stream, I'm sorry. Things just didn't quite work out the way I wanted them to. I will get the individual videos processed. I suppose one last thing I could do for you guys is go ahead and I still have a little bit of time here. Let's go ahead. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to go ahead and click this off now. Because Survival on a Budget Made Easy actually sent me a video. And since I have a little bit more time, what the hey, we'll just do it. All right, and let's see. Let's go to mine. There we go. Let's see what Survival on a Budget Made Easy sent me this time. All right. Before we begin, the title of this video from Survival on a Budget Made Easy is Bluffs of Beaver Bend. Okay. And I'll try to remember to post the hyperlink to this particular video down here in the description below. I have been doing a lot of reviews, and I would like for you guys to watch the individual videos on everything else, because there was so much material I covered tonight, and I don't want to put all those links in the description. I will put this one in there, but the rest of them, go watch the individual videos. They'll all be posted at some point, and I'll get them processed and so on and so forth. So anyway, let's go ahead and review this video and see what Survival on a Budget Made Easy sent to me tonight.
Okay, I was on our next destination, and I just seen this American flag randomly hanging here. But it's kind of interesting. There's this rock, this giant rock. I haven't seen any other rock like this anywhere in the area. Granted, it's covered in graffiti. I really wish people wouldn't do that.
Perhaps someday somebody might take some actual paint or whatever and paint over the graffiti and make some nice little designs and whatever to make this thing look not nicer. Now, I saw that underneath the rock there was a little bit of space. First thing I'd wonder is whether it'd be safe enough to crawl underneath that rock, and secondly, how much space is actually underneath there. That would be kind of interesting to find out.
Right here is some running water. Where the water's coming from, I'm not sure. You're across the street. I'm not sure where the water's actually going. Over here's another big rock.
Now, did you see any wildlife as you were recording this video? And if so, what kind of wildlife did you see? And even when you weren't recording, did you see any wildlife? And if so, what kind of wildlife did you actually see?
And some cinder blocks. Once again, nothing else around. But I'm going to go up this road here and see if you can actually get up there somehow. Okay, everybody, welcome back to Survival Budget Made Easy. Now, I'm driving back, and I gotta be honest, at this point, I really don't know where I'm at, but that's my norm anymore. I've just been driving around trying to find interesting locations to explore and to share with you. Now, if you like these kinds of videos, please leave a comment down below, give it a big thumbs up, and I'll keep doing more videos like these. Now, as I'm driving down, I'm noticing some interesting rock formations. It's like the side of the rock's been washed away, and every now and then you'll see a hole, and I don't see pipes coming out of it or anything, and I'll see these little caves. We'll be taking a closer look at the holes in the side of the rocks later.
Well, Survival on a Budget Made Easy. You got a thumbs up from me on that one. So let's continue.
The video. I didn't see many people back here when I was back here. I did see one person standing at the fence. I think he was waiting for somebody to come out because there is a hiking trail that goes through this area.
How long is the hiking trail?
Go ahead, park it. We'll take a closer look. Okay, by going by the sign, we're at the Bluffs of Beaver Bend. New Bend Ridge Trail. Let's go back here, take a walk, and see what we can find. It's a dedicated state nature preserve. You're not allowed to hunt, trap, camp, have campfires, horseback riding. One of the crown jewels of our state's nature preserves, the Bluffs of Beaver Bend in Martin County, offers colorful sandstone cliffs that tower over the White River. Ferns and a variety of lower plants cover the cliffs and hillsides with a kaleidoscope of colors and textures. Look for the sections of the cliffs that have broken away from the bedrock and expose unique geological formations. Bluffs of Beaver Bend has been known by several names, including White River Bluffs, Sprout Springs, and Gormley's Bluff. The area, now named for the large bend of the White River and Beaver Creek, has a rich history. Native Americans used to use the bluff as shelter and the river as a source of food. Large beds of freshwater mussel existed in the river, and traces of those shells can still be found today.
I wonder if anybody goes swimming in that place. That looks like a beautiful place to go swimming in.
Moonshiners, bootleggers, and gangsters have also played a part in tales about the bluffs as buried treasure. Regardless of whether the stories are true, the Bluffs of Beaver Bend is truly a gem.
I get to see a bunch of people bringing out their metal detectors and trying to find the hidden treasure. That would be funny.
Now, right here's a little cave. I'm assuming you can go back in it. I know there's a green post here. I don't know if there's a sign here before, but you can definitely see a path where people have been walking in and out. I didn't go back due to fear of snakes. And another cave with a path to get back.
Well, it wouldn't just be the snakes. I would imagine there are probably some bats that live in those caves. I mean, caves are notorious for having bats live in them.
And we're coming up on some rocks or a rock formation where it looks like the rock might have broke away and fell down. But if you look at it, you'll see holes in it, like there's something round in there. Now, I know this area has a lot of geodes. I don't know if there was geodes in those holes that came out or something's digging into the rock. I just found it really interesting.
Another question I'd have is there any poison oak or poison ivy in the area? And did you bring stuff with you in case you got exposed to any of that? I know if I was walking through a hiking trail like that, I would probably wear long pants and boots and you know, you can wear a short sleeve shirt, but I would definitely. The only nice thing I see about this is that there's a lot of shade, so you're not going to really worry about getting sunburnt. I wouldn't think so anyway. Yeah, I know it'd probably be hot in there, but I don't think you'd be sunburned at all. But like I said, with the poison oak and poison sumac and poison ivy, those would be kind of things that I would be like, I'd want to make sure that I at least wore pants and boots, so I wouldn't get exposed to any of them. I know your arms could still be exposed, but it'd be better just, you know, having a little something on your arm than having your whole body covered. I can't even imagine what it'd be like to have that stuff on your legs. Really couldn't. And if you want to tuck your pants into your socks, that would be another good thing you might want to do. But yeah, definitely have stuff with you just in case you got exposed to any of that.
Okay, right here is Newman Ridge Trail. Let's go ahead, head up, and see what we can find. Right down there is the White River. I've been walking about 20 minutes. As you can see, it is a pretty steep incline. And the path, well, it kind of gets close to the edge. So if you come back here, just be careful. Now, I've been walking probably close to 45 minutes, and I still haven't came to that cave that we first seen alongside the road. I'm not sure how much further I'm going to have to go, so I'm just going to go ahead, turn around, and head back. I'll have links below to this place. It's a nice place to come and go for a little hike. You can just stay on the main road that we first walked up. You don't have to walk up this big hill. Okay, do me a favor, click on that subscribe button. As always, thank you for watching.
I think the only other question I would have on that particular video is, did you have a walking stick with you? I know if you have a walking stick with you, that would probably make it a little easier for you to navigate through all that. But it's beautiful. It really is gorgeous, and I'm glad you videotaped all that, and I'm glad you shared it with all of us. I kind of wish I could go out and do some stuff myself, but unfortunately, I haven't had really good luck this year. I mean, with parades canceled and an inability to go videotape signs, it's been kind of a thing. My vacation is going to pretty much come to an end tomorrow, and so I'm not going to really have a whole lot of time to do much of anything. That's why I did this magnificent live stream for you guys, and I'm glad you all got a chance to watch it, and I hope you enjoyed all of it. Wow. I don't know what else to tell you, people. I mean, I have really talked myself silly all night. So I do want to thank you guys very much for watching everything that you watched tonight and give me your feedback. If I think of something else, I might come on to another live stream tomorrow night. Who knows? It just depends. But like I said, there will be times when I'll be doing live streams real late at night because of my schedule, and that can't be helped. But otherwise, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Not much else to say. Whoever just walked in, thank you very much for coming by. Let me know who you are. Let me know who's watching. I can't ever tell. But, wow. I think this is when, 2.5 hours of live stream. That's a long time. I can tell you that right now. Now that we've done our revised lesson 3 on the smartphone tutorial, I will start preparing notes for lesson 4. I will do that tomorrow. And we'll just have to take it from one day to the next. But I do want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight and watching all this. I didn't expect to be on this long, but hey, it happens. So, one other thing before we go. If you guys know of any terrible songs that need to have an F- grade, let me know. That way I can review it on my next live stream. But at least now I have a Christmas video review, and that will help out with Christmas ratings as we get closer to Christmas. So I hope you guys check all this out, and I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in tonight. I did the Bill and Ted thing mainly because of the new movie that's coming out, and I already mentioned what that was. And so if you want to send a song that you want me to review, and it's a good song, I'll be more happy to review it. But like I said, if you find a really trashy, bad, holy cow, we should never have had this on the air type of song, please let me see it. All right? And I'll give it its F- as it is well due. All right. Well, I want to thank you guys very much for tuning in tonight. I know this was a monster of a live stream, but you know, this doesn't happen very often. So, all right. We'll do what we can with what live streams we can as time goes on. I will tell you, as we get closer and closer to retail Christmas, it's going to be. I'm sorry I was not able to do a Math Doesn't Suck video. I will work on those notes tomorrow and see what I can come up with. I'll probably do that on another live stream. There are other topics I'd like to cover, and I probably will. But this was the most important thing to me to do. One last thing I will say is, if you guys are going back to school, I know the tough times you're going to be facing. This is going to be the first time you're not going to be walking into a physical building for a lot of you, and you're going to be online doing your education. This is something you do in college anyway, so you must start getting used to this. I have a feeling that there are going to be many schools that'll never reopen. You will see this in the United States, where there will be a lot of schools that may never open again. That'll be sad, but it'll be true. For the ones who do, I know you're going to be going through a lot. You're going to have masks. You're going to have partitions everywhere. It's going to be rough for you. And I'm sorry for that. But I wish you all the best in your school. And more importantly, if you're having problems in school, come to this YouTube channel, and I'll do what I can to fix all that for you. But learn what I've already taught you. Take the time. Learn the HTML lessons. Learn the mathematical stuff. I've got Euclid's Elements out the wazoo. Learn all that stuff. And I will do whatever I can to teach you as best as I can. All right. Well, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in tonight. And it's wonderful. I have not seen this in a long time. This was the best live streams I've ever had. I mean, granted, there wasn't a whole lot of people in here during the live stream, but I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of people watching this in the not so distant future. And they're going to be wondering what I'm going to be doing. And I packed this thing tight, as you well know. I have a third person in here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please let me know who you are. I'm going to stay on just for a little bit longer to see who in the heck's joining us. I never know. I mean, when you join me, I never know who it's going to be. I really don't. So please let me know. Even if I shut this off, let me know in the comments that you were actually here, that you watched everything, or even watched some of it, because I never know. All right. Well, this is Ted the Speed Learner signing off. Thank you guys very much for watching my presentation. I will put the individual videos up as soon as I can get them processed. And I hope you guys have a great evening. Let me know what's going on in the school system, because I don't know. I'm not in your school system. Please let me know. All right. I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned.